4, 3, 2, listo.
We are with Dani Ayalon. Estamos con Dani Ayalon, una personalidad del gobierno de Israel, muchos años en la política de Israel, en el gobierno y representando al Estado de Israel en muchos lugares. Hoy dedicado también a difundir la verdad del Estado de Israel. La primera pregunta es, Dani, ¿todo el que es en contra de Israel es antisemita?
Well, not all. But those who are making the campaign, those who direct the campaign, are certainly anti-Israel and anti-Semites. There are many who are naive. But the problem is that there is this Arab majority in the United Nations, the Muslim majority all over the world, and they are using the quantity to make it a qualitative edge in Hasbara, in diplomacy against Israel. So we have many people who are neutral, but they keep hearing all the Palestinian incitement and the Palestinian lies, and they believe in it. So I'm not saying everybody is anti-Semites, not at all, but those who direct it, those who initiate, those who propagate it, certainly are anti-Semites, and anti-Israeli today is anti-Semite.
Hablaste de la propaganda árabe, de la propaganda palestina. Hay toda una campaña que apoya y que difunde y que hacen trabajos de poner a una persona que no falleció, que lo ponen ahí, ponen un niño enfrente de un soldado, ponen muchas cosas y arman muchas cosas como tipo Hollywood para causar el problema palestino. ¿Cómo saber qué es cierto de esto? Porque la gente se pregunta, bueno, si no es cierto, ¿cómo saber que no es cierto? O cómo detectar esas cosas cuando no son ciertas dentro de todo este proceso de un conflicto.
There is a network. Today there is a network of incitement against Israel, to delegitimize Israel. And it's starting in Ramallah, and it's also in Gaza, and it's also in Iran, and it's also the Hezbollah and Hamas, and also, unfortunately, some anti-Israeli groups in the United States. In San Francisco there is a center, in London there is a center, and this is very, very unfortunate. And the Arabs, the Palestinians, are orchestrating, and they're making a false reality. There is the story about Muhammad al-Dura, supposedly the one Palestinian child in the Intifada in 2000 that was killed by Israelis. After everything was inspected, he was killed by Palestinian fire, Palestinian policeman fire. And the same thing is with all the lies. In Jenin, in 2012, and I was there, it was a terrorist camp that the Israeli army was mopping up. 23 Israeli soldiers were killed. But the Palestinians said it was a massacre, that everybody there was children, and they are just lying, and they...
How can you prove, or how can we show people that this was not true? Because people see the photos, see the moment, the last international photo contest won a picture of one kid in Arab countries that they said it was killed in an attack. ¿Cómo lo demostramos? ¿Cómo enseñamos que eso no es cierto?
We have learned, but it took us a while. Today, every operation of Tzal, of the IDF, of the Israeli army, we bring in cameras to show exactly what happened. And this is part of showing the truth, because we realized that they have no problem lying. So we have to defend ourselves also through the public media, through social media, and everything today is documented in the operations.
Nosotros en Diario Judío, en Memory, en Por Israel y en varios sitios más que promovemos lo que es la Hasbara o la realidad de Israel, tenemos muchos de estos videos del ejército, tenemos muy buena relación con el ejército que nos pide, lo difundamos todo esto y se vaya dando a conocer, porque es importante que la gente conozca los dos lados de la moneda. Normalmente el débil es el que la gente lo quiere consentir, y normalmente el débil se ha puesto al pueblo palestino, cuando sabemos que no puede ser alguien débil que comete atentados terroristas, que se infiltra, que puede atacar sin poder tener una consecuencia. ¿Es realmente el débil los palestinos? ¿Existen los palestinos? Empezando por ese punto.
Well, you see, Israel has always wanted peace for Israelis and for Jews. This is our part of our values, of our religion. Peace is not just a strategic interest for us. Peace is a moral obligation. But how can you make peace with someone who kills you, with someone who doesn't believe you exist? And this is why, you know, on the one hand, we offer a hand in peace with a lot of compromises, also painful compromises. You know, we are the ones who moved 8,500 Jews from Gaza. We are the ones who offered a lot of land to the Palestinians. Many, many compromises, but they want everything. And this is a problem. And also, the Palestinians are on message all the time in the media. And we were not there. So everybody now talks about occupied territories, Palestinian state, as if there was ever a Palestinian state. There was never ever a Palestinian state in history.
Tú mencionaste algo de que recordemos algún rey palestino.
Exactly, exactly. There was not a Palestinian king. You know, people have to just look in the history. But today, there is a very fast pace of life. There is 24/7 media, social media. Everything is short, so it's very difficult in sound bites to explain history of 4,000 years. This is why, with the Truth About Israel, the organization that I created, we were doing it in a very short way, 3-4 minute videos that show the history in a very, very simple way that everyone can understand, and we put it in the social media, in the YouTube, in Twitter, and this is, and of course, Facebook. And once we start initiating and becoming proactive and not reactive, we can level the playing fields and make it more even. Still, we have a long way to go because we started late, but it's still never too late to continue.
Nosotros vamos a encargarnos de ayudarte a traducirlo también, a tenerlo con Por Israel, con Diario Judío, con los diferentes medios que manejamos de Asbará. Pero algo que me salta, en algún momento alguien dijo que a los palestinos ya se les ofreció hasta la mitad de Jerusalén, el Jerusalén indivisible, que el pueblo judío pelea y dice, no lo podemos, que ya se les ofreció hasta, ahí está Jerusalén, ahí está tu estado, y que ni el propios gobiernos árabes lo aceptaron. Es cierto, primero, que alguna vez se ofreció esto, porque hoy peleamos porque se les devolvió Gaza, nos enojamos, algunos otros, alguna vez se ofreció Jerusalén y alguna vez no se aceptó, ¿y por qué?
See, Jerusalem, if you look at the history, was never ever a capital of any other people, only the Jewish people, never. You know, the Muslims, you know, they have their special and sacred places and cities in Mecca, in Medina. You know, Jerusalem is never mentioned in the Quran. There is no Jerusalem in the Quran. So we have the rightful claim for Jerusalem. But to make peace, there were Israeli leaders like Ehud Barak, like Ehud Olmert, who offered to divide Jerusalem and half of it to give to the Palestinians, including split sovereignty, shared sovereignty over the Temple Mount, the most important place for Judaism. The Arabs don't want it. Why? Because they know if they disconnect the ties between the Jewish people and Temple Mount in Jerusalem, then there is no Jewish people.
So, if there are no Jewish people, it's better for the Palestinians.
This is why we have to make sure.
It's supposed to be better for all the Arab countries. That's what they want. It's really what they want. It's a common cause, just not to have problems inside the Arab countries.
Also. But today, when they see that the real threat is coming from the Ayatollahs in Iran, they are beginning to appreciate the role of Israel for strategic stability in the Middle East for their own good.
Which one, o cuál es el peor enemigo de Israel hoy en día?
The enemigos.
The worst enemy from around the world.
Yes,
what is the worst enemy we have to be?
I would say the worst enemies are the Ayatollahs of Tehran, which want to destroy Israel, as they say.
And they can do it?
No, because we have self-defense, and I don't think that they will want to do it. And I also believe that the international community can stop them, because Iran doesn't just want to destroy Israel. It wants to destroy the entire Sunni world, and then to become dominant all over the area, and even to threat Europe and the United States. They have develop the delivery systems, missiles that can carry warheads, that can reach Europe and later on even the United States. So Iran is not just against Israel, against the entire world. And also I would say that Palestinian terrorism is a threat. Hamas, there is the global jihad, there is Hezbollah, which is really an organ of Iran in Lebanon. They are the Shiites in Lebanon, which work for Iran. So these are, I would say, the Palestinians. And the terror organizations are tactical threat. Iran is a strategical threat. But also, the propaganda, the Palestinian propaganda against Israel is also a strategic threat, because they want to isolate Israel politically, boycott against Israel, sanctions against Israel, and this is why we need to defend ourselves in the media, and this is why I created The Truth About Israel.
Mencionaste en algún momento que gracias a que está el Estado de Israel, si hubiera habido un Estado de Israel o un ejército judío en algún momento, no hubiera existido el Holocausto, y que debería haber más de estos tipos para evitar otros genocidios, y que eso pudiera, que no sucedieran estas tragedias en el mundo que están sucediendo hoy en día ante la vista de todo el mundo, y nadie abre la boca, nadie dice nada.
Well, today we have the capability to defend ourselves by ourselves, and this is the most important for Jewish future, to be able to defend ourselves by ourselves, because we cannot rely on anyone to defend us. As you mentioned, in the past, when we didn't have military power, we didn't have our own state, there were the pogroms, there was the Holocaust. Even today, people like in Syria, like in Darfur, like in Congo, like in Rwanda, that cannot defend themselves, they're being killed.
It has been a must from Israel to defend also these countries. It just the conscience of the Israel to defend all these other minorities or people that are suffering. It has to be something that Israel has to do.
It is not our job to do. We can offer humanitarian help, and we are offering a lot of humanitarian help for people who were injured in Syria. We will continue to do that. But in order to bring about the end of the massacre in Syria, it has to be the international community, it has to be the Arab. We cannot go in there and help. It has to be the Arab League. Why the Arab League doesn't send help? We can just watch with shock, but offer humanitarian and moral support.
Coming back, mencionaste que hay que estar a favor de Israel. Quiere decir que hay que estar a favor de toda la política de Israel. O Israel tiene cosas buenas y malas como cualquier país, tenemos que apoyar su política, o el no apoyarla nos convierte en enemigos de Israel, o tenemos que tener, Israel es el primero que tiene opiniones y es el país más democrático de este mundo. ¿Cuál es la diferencia entre ser anti-israelí, ser antisemita y ser antipolítica de Israel? Porque el mundo cree que todo el judío tiene que apoyar a Israel, o todos apoyamos a Israel y todo lo que hace Israel. Y no es cierto, habrá cosas que sí, cosas que no, pero hay que diferenciar en ciertos momentos, supongo, no sé cuál es tu opinión.
Well, Israel first and foremost is a Jewish and democratic state. It's a democratic state, we have free speech, we have free press, we have free opinions, and many Jews have different opinions in Israel and also outside of Israel. Unfortunately, the Palestinians take advantage of this, and because we have different opinions, and they have only one opinion, then for somebody who is neutral, and they see only